This video is about the three pure economic systems. You should have watched the video on the three basic economic questions that every society has to answer based on scarcity and the fact that we have unlimited wants and needs and limited resources. We have to look at the productive resources that we have available to us before we can determine what it is we are going to produce, how we're going to produce it, and how we're going to distribute goods and services in our society. And so every country has developed a plan on how to answer those questions. And what we're going to find out towards the end is that there really are no such thing as a pure command market or traditional economy. These exist. Well, actually, they don't exist anywhere. So what we're going to look at right now is in their purest form, and then we're going to look and see how all economic systems actually fall somewhere between a command and a market economy. If we looked at a pure economic system that is command, you're also going to see this referred to sometimes as communism, sometimes socialism. In a command economy, or a centralized economy, the government owns the factors of production. They own the land, all the natural resources. They own all the capital equipment. And in most of these command systems, and actually the more command you get, the less property you're able to own, to the point that some of these countries don't allow you to own any property whatsoever. We'll look at the former Soviet Union's constitution in this unit and see where actually in their constitution it states that people cannot own private property. We're looking at the top here, North Korea. They are the closest thing that exists today as a command economy, and there were some images online that I just decided were too disturbing to even put on here. The people suffering because the government thinks it knows best. It does not allow them to own any property. Very few decisions can be made, and these people are definitely suffering. And I did find this image where it said every 2.5 minutes a North Korean dies of starvation. If we were to do a production possibility curve of guns and butter, you would definitely see North Korea taking almost all of its resources and putting it towards military and government goods and services. And one of the reasons is they need to maintain control. So you have the former Soviet Union that was command. North Korea is command today. Cuba, one of the reasons we did not trade with Cuba for years, they were the government controlled everything. They have loosened up a little bit since Fidel Castro's death, but they still are not democratic, and they definitely do not have a market economy. At the opposite end of the spectrum, we have been talking about Hong Kong and why it prospers despite the fact that it has really no natural resources available to it. So they have free trade. These people are able to start a business if they want to. They can own property. So you'll see the difference in incentives here. When there is no incentive, when there's no opportunity to own anything, then there's really no incentive to work. The reason that we go to work every single day is so that we can make money, so that we can buy stuff. And we know if we start a business that we're going to be able to protect our intellectual property. We can put patents on things and we copyright things, and this is very important in our economy. And it gives us a reason to innovate and to grow. And that's one of the things Hong Kong does very well. It's free trade, very easy to start a business, few safety nets. They're all about growth and freedom. And then there are traditional economies, and these still exist today, where the three basic economic questions are answered by tradition. You see the Amish community still doing things the same exact way that they've always done it. In Africa, in South America, and some of your tribes down there, in Australia, Aborigines, all these tribes still do things the same exact way that they've always done it. Going back just to command for a second, the government answers the three questions. The government decides what is going to be produced, how they're going to producing it, and how they're going to distribute the stuff equally. In a market economy, individual buyers and sellers, consumers, producers, they're the ones that get to determine what's going to be produced. They're going to be the ones that determine how it's going to be produced. And they are in a market system, things are distributed based on who values it the most, who is willing to go out and spend the money on it. And once again, in a traditional economy, those three questions are based on tradition, how it's always been done.